One thing people love to do is to be able to log on to another computer from the computer they're at right now, to in essence make the desktop of that remote computer magically appear on your computer right here. This is a fantastic way to do things like to provide support or training or just to be able to get to your own computer and take a look at a file or something like that. Now, the important thing to appreciate when we're talking about remote connections like these is that you can't really, well, in general, you can't transfer files from your remote desktop to your local desktop, things like that. It's just a way to show you your graphical user interface on a remote computer so you can do things. Now, this whole idea of remote desktop was pushed a long, long time ago by a company called Citrix. And Citrix used a standard that they developed called ICA to provide over an IP network a way to do this type of stuff. Now, it had been done before Citrix, but it was a lot of people who did proprietary things and it was all strange and weird. Now, today, Citrix is still out there and very, very popular, but there's two other alternatives, and these are the ones I want to concentrate on right now. And one of those is a very, very easy to use one called TightVNC. Let's start off with him. The first thing I need to mention about TightVNC is that it is a completely free product and it runs on every operating system known to man. In fact, with a lot of operating systems, it comes out of the box. So if you get, for example, a Mac, or if you were to get most Linux distributions, you get TightVNC as part of the package. You can get it for Windows 2 and it's totally free, but you got to download it. When you download TightVNC, you get a viewer and you also get a service. So I've already got the service started on my machine, but what's more fun is I've got the service started on another machine, and what I want to do is connect to that. So I've already got the IP address punched in. I'm ready to go. So I'm just going to hit connect. And I am now on one of my other machines. Now this is right here in the house with me, but this could just as easily be on the other side of the world using the internet. It works perfectly fine. TightVNC is actually even used with, for example, the Citrix ICA servers. We use TightVNC as the client to connect to those. TightVNC runs normally on port 5900, but you can change that if you'd like. Now the fun part about all this is that we literally are on that remote box right now. So if I want to do anything, I can just jump right in there and as though I was on that remote system. So that's TightVNC. I love TightVNC. It's free, it works well, it's easy to use. In fact, it's so simple to use that it's actually shocking. Now the other tool I want to show you is Microsoft's remote desktop tools. Now there's two ways to do a remote desktop. One way is to have a remote desktop server, and that's usually seen where you have a Windows server, and then you use a special tool called Remote Desktop Connection. And then I use Remote Desktop Connection, I type in the IP address or the name of the computer, and I get a screen very similar to what you just saw. And that works great, and by the way, that's protocol RDP and runs on port 3389. Make sure you know that for the test. When you're not using servers, what we do instead is we do a remote help. So what's happened here is somebody's gone into their system and they did remote assistance and they've created a invitation for me to connect to a particular system. And they send it to me via email. So I've got this, and then I can actually create the connection. Once I've made that, I pretty much just click on the invitation and it takes care of it for me. So now you can see using RDP, I'm able to connect to a remote system just as easily. So there's a lot of different ways to do these types of remote desktops. Microsoft really wants you to do the Windows way using the RDP protocol and the built-in tools that they have. But if you want really cross-platform performance, I'm a big fan of TightVNC. For the exam, just remember the port numbers. TightVNC running on port 5900 and RDP running on port 3389.